somebody mentioned, yeah, that that they commented on my implicit point or explicit or whatever it was, that if you use these transformative techniques, you're going to have a shaky foundation and you're building something that's quick to assemble. Okay, you're learning well, you could call them shoddy techniques if you plan to live in it forever, but they're good techniques if you're going to be nomadic. It depends on the situation. But the thing is, that brings to another point of this landmark deal. They set up transformation as opposed to change. That you're going to have a transformation, and the transformations are about being, and that the way you are being has to do with where your mind is. If your mind is in the past, then you're thinking about change, and you think that you are the sum of your experiences. But if your mind is in the future, um, then you're thinking about being, and it affects your being. And I think they play a little game on that side. Now, first of all, in terms of my use of the terms, I think transformation is a good thing, but it's a subset. It's a kind of change. It is a rapid change, and it's something you should consider. You don't want to do a lot of transformations quickly together and things like this. And it's a kind of change. But they set them up as opposed, and they set them up as becoming, being sort of the negative thing, and they kind of deny that. But that's stuck in the past, becoming, incremental improvement, and the transformation. And you really shouldn't be able to transform too easily. You shouldn't take it lightly. I mean, if you became a guru and could transform at will almost as quickly as you'd like, would it take instantaneous to be seconds or minutes or days or a week? But in a relatively short period of time, total control, you wouldn't do that a lot. You'd focus in, you'd try and find some steady state so you didn't have to do constant transformation. Because it's during the steady state period that you get robust and strength. If you're transforming all the time, you will be weak and at best short-lived, right? So um, I I also set up a dichotomy, but the terms are differently. To me, the idea of being is an error. The little truism in the landmark form idea is that, yes, your present is defined by where you put your mind in the future or the past. If you're looking forward to a vacation you're going to come, then your present is different. If you're looking back to the hassle you had with your cousin, which is a terrible example because who would ever have a hassle with your cousin, with your uncle, then you're going to be looking, your present is going to be affected that way. So fine, but really, there is no being except as just this approximation. See, we take measurements of reality. We set up problems. We create word problems. We find situations we can describe that with words we can put into word problems which we can solve and get a result. And since that result is a number, a static thing, we think of the world as those results, as the things that it was at that moment. But really, the world we can see now is always changing. And when we take a result, that's just a little cross section. If we take a result at a different time, all kinds of weird things can happen at various physical levels. But even just classically, we're taking a cross section of something that's constantly changing. Now, to us, it looks like the world is constantly changing. But we wonder, wait, is it really changing or is it just rearranging? Oh, it is just rearranging. So the world isn't really changing, it's just rearranging. Ah, well, rearrangement is change, so yes, it turns out it is changing. So does it have to change? Can anything just sit still? No, nothing can sit still. Everything's changing, at least its position. Why? Because it's not actually even changing. It's not a thing that changes. It is an interval. It is a moment of possibility that is not a point, right? That's the point of the particle being a probability packet. The wave function, the electron is a probability packet. You know, it's always moving. Why? Because it's a wave. It expands over an interval and it has to be moving. Its position, its singular location you would like to take, it never actually possesses that. That's you taking a measurement at that moment. Okay, it is actually this interval, so of course it's constantly moving. Waves don't stand still. They are in essence motion. Moving through some medium, at least some conceptual medium, like a field, you have this essence of no possibility of static staying still. It just is not what it is on a fundamental level. Even as we break it down to understand more fundamentally, still at this level of this wave packet concept, you're going to have something that's always moving. Everything is changing. So it appears that everything is changing. We wondered, we went back and forth over the history of philosophy. And it's true. Things are in flux. Things are becoming at every moment the smallest part of a line. When you split a line up into infinite many parts, you do not get points. You get little line segments. And that's metaphorically true of all things. You never actually get a point. You get a little line segment. What the point is your measurement. And that's why you have to consider the plus or minus error on your measurement. That puts it back into an interval. Now, the interval that you have is not actually the interval, the real interval. It's just going to overlap a certain amount, which you can try to characterize with statistics.